headed home. We're just leaving the TA in Cuba, Missouri, and I am headed home for another 34-hour reset. I've got a load going to Grand Prairie, Texas. Have to have delivered Monday morning, and it's 4:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. My 11 hours of drive time just kicked over, so I'm a little over 6 hours away from the house. I decided to stop kind of early last night to make sure I'd get my full 10-hour in. I had like 2.5 to 3 more hours of drive time that I could go, but then it was going to put me later into the day getting home, and I wanted to get home where my 34 started at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, which means it'll be up at a decent time Sunday night, and then I can drive down to Grand Prairie and park and be waiting, have my 10 hours kick over again, and be waiting when they open the gates so I can get in there, drop, and then go pick up my reload and head back to Missouri. And I thought, well, the other thing that'll be nice about it is going to be Saturday. There won't be near as much traffic, and at this time in the morning there ain't going to be anybody around hardly, so I can just ride along and enjoy myself. I do agree that nighttime driving, although it poses some different challenges and dangers, is way more relaxing because you're just not dealing with all the nonsense, all the four-wheelers. Getting up here last night, the left lane just from St. Louis up here to Cuba, the left lane just stayed chock full of four-wheelers, and every time I would get to a hill, I'm not super heavy, but I got like 38,000, and it'd be enough that this thing just would die down, and I couldn't get a run for a hill because I was either being held up in front of me or behind to my left, to where if I did find a break and someone let me out into the passing lane, I had lost all my momentum, and then I still ended up dragging up the hill. So after fighting that for an hour and a half, whatever it was, I just pulled into the TA. I was just going to make a quick coffee and eat a bite to eat and say, okay, I'll do whatever here in a little bit, and I just decided, no, I'm going to hang it up for the night. So I thought I'd make a little bit of a video on the way home here, and I'm going to go home and see my wife for a couple of days. She had her infusion treatment on Thursday, and she has just not been doing well. It was a double dose. They moved her to farther away appointments for that, but the kicker to that is they put her on, I think the phone just fell out of the holder, they put her on double doses, and so a single dose of that stuff was bad enough on her body, a double dose is worse. So I'm hoping that within the next couple of days she starts to feel a little better. And I feel bad. I fell asleep hard last night. Sometime after I fell asleep, she tried to call me twice, and I never heard my phone. So I get up this morning and I see I had 2 missed calls. I hope it wasn't nothing bad. I hope she didn't end up going to the emergency room or anything, and I would feel terrible. So I'm just going to play some music now and on the video, and I edit it, and just enjoy some road footage of nighttime driving. part over here. We're still in the Ozarks. We haven't quite cut out of there yet, and I'll be happy when we get out of this part because it's a lot of windy curves. It's a lot of up and down mountain, which is not terrible, but driving in the night like this, it possesses some more challenges. You just have to be careful. And once you get over here to the west of this stuff, won't be long then, and it gets a lot flatter. And I can cruise right along then. We're not too far from going through Fort Lost in the Woods and then on to Springfield. So by the time we get over to Springfield, it's pretty flat. And then once we break into Oklahoma past Joplin there, we can just roll. And almost coming to my favorite time in the morning, where it's just that point where the sun starts to come up, your eyes don't strain quite as much to see, and it just gets to where it's a little more easier driving. I really enjoy that part of the morning when the sun starts to illuminate stuff. On the way home, I have just under half a tank of fuel, and this thing gets good enough fuel mileage that I had been trying to decide, did I want to fuel up on my way home, or did I want to wait until Sunday night and fuel up on my trip down to Grand Prairie. And I think I'm going to wait till the latter. I'll fuel up Sunday night because I've got more than enough fuel to get home. This thing's been averaging like 7.9 to about 8.4 miles to the gallon, and it's hard to beat. I mean, the level of comfort in this truck compared to the Pete there's no question, it's two different animals. I've said it many times in my video that the cool factor is not there. The Jakes, having that 3406 Cat, two different animals. This has a DD15. It does have strong Jakes, but they're just not that same loud, cackling sound that are synonymous with Jake brakes. But they are very powerful. They're strong. I came down the going west side of Mont Eagle in stage 3, 9th gear. Staying anywhere from 45 to about 52 miles an hour, and just had to touch the brakes just slightly, and no issues at all. And all of this stuff, all of the one little pretty steep grade that comes right after you leave St. Louis, no problem at all. So, fuel mileage, I mean, the Pete, the best I got was 4 point something, and this I'm getting almost double. And there are times I'm getting over double. And our company kind of tracks it across all the drivers, and one of my buddies right now is at the top of the list. He's getting 8.4 pretty consistently. My goal is to get a little better fuel mileage, but my problem is that if I can step on the go fast pedal and it goes fast, I struggle to be one of those guys running around at 62 mile an hour or 65 mile an hour everywhere. That I like to go like 68 to 70 pretty much consistently. GPS left me down yesterday. My truck GPS. I roll off this exit. It tells me to make a left-hand turn and then turn right. And I can't remember whether it said half or 3/4 of a mile down on the right will be your delivery. And I roll down there and it says you've arrived. And I look and I'm like, yeah, no, Linda, I have not arrived. I don't know where you took me, but this is not correct. And it says, oh, she's like, no, we're here. There was a trailer park on a 2-lane road. And so I had to finagle. I got on Google Maps on my phone and kind of looked where I needed to be and looked the address up again on my phone, and the exit was correct. Where I got off was correct. However, I needed to turn right, and it was like a half or 3/4 of a mile down on my right. But my GPS took me the exact wrong way, and I had to drive like, I don't know, like a 5 or 7 mile loop around St. Louis area to get back over onto a couple big highways that would bring me back to the exact same exit so that I could drive in there. I still made my appointment time, but when I originally got off the exit to go in there, I was like 54 or 55 minutes early. I was almost an hour early, so I was like, cool. Well, by the time that I did all this didoing around, stopping and looking at the map to make sure that I wasn't getting myself into a predicament, when I showed up I had like 15 minutes, so I burned up about 40 minutes doing this little 5 or 10 mile loop. Still early, but not as early as I would, not what I planned for, and not as early as I would have liked. They got me in, and I ended up, I was there a little over 2 hours. I got enough time that I got some more sleeper bird time while waiting to get my dock and all that. They got me right in. My experience with Coke this time, because both the pickup in Marietta, Georgia, and then where I dropped off in St. Charles, Missouri, was they were really good. The people were very pleasant. They were timely, right on top of stuff, and got your paperwork to you, and boom, you were rolling again. Where in the past, there's been a couple of places where they sent me to pick up at Coke, and from the time you pull up to get checked in, everybody there just kind of mean mugged you. I did a pickup for another company. Can't remember where that Coke was. It was South Carolina or Georgia also, and it was going to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And the big complex in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, from the time I showed up there, those people were just, they almost acted like, what are you even here for? Why'd you come here? We'll call you when we're ready. Just kind of just snooty, and just, it wasn't a pleasant feeling. So it was kind of refreshing this time that both ends of this delivery, those folks were like, hey man, we're glad you're here. Let me show you, let me walk you through our process. And it was simple. You download a QR code, answer the questions, and boom, you're checked in, and we'll send you a text message and tell you when we're ready for you. It was pretty good. So hats off to the St. Charles, or I guess it was called the Heartland Coca-Cola Distribution Center. So hats off to them. They did a good job. We have reached to Fort Leonard Wood, or Fort Lost in the Woods as I call it. That whole area that a little bit past here is when the road starts getting a little more straight, a little less windy bends, and real bad elevation changes. It's when we've gotten to the west side or mostly up the west side of the Ozarks. There's still some of that over getting old. When you go from, hey, I take a pill today or whatever, a couple pills a day, to I have to have a pill caddy because I have to manage all the stupid pills that I take. And I take, right now I take 5, and they're talking about putting me back on 1. That I stopped taking my cholesterol medicine because it was making my dang bones and joints hurt, and my muscles cramp. And talking to the pharmacist through the VA that kind of manages all my stuff, she said, well, you were actually on a pretty high dose. I don't think you should have ever been on quite as high a dose of that statin drug as you were. So maybe on our next phone visit, we have monthly visits to kind of manage my diabetes medicine and all that. She said maybe by the time of our next visit, I will have done some research and figure out what drug we're going to put you on to kind of manage your cholesterol. It doesn't have to be anywhere near as high of a dose as what they had you on. So I don't know what that was going to look like, but so I may end up going from taking 5 pills a day to 6. But it's still an improvement, because here just a few years ago, between VA and my private primary care doctor, I was on like 9 or 10. And over the course of the last year, this pharmacist gal, she's really good at what she does, and she got me off quite a bit of that stuff. She's like, I feel like all of this is, you're taking too much stuff. You don't need to be on all this. So I'm grateful to Linda for that, because she has kept my continuous glucose monitor deal operating. She was the one that was instrumental in getting that started, and for the most part, it's been pretty seamless. Now, right now, I don't have a monitor. I've been away from the house for over 3 weeks, and my monitor expired, and for whatever reason, the refills had not showed up at the house before I left on this trip. So when my monitor ran out, I didn't have one to replace it with. So I sent them a message and let them know. She's trying to rectify that so that she can kick out the refill actually before it's needed, so that I always have like one in the chamber ready to go when one expires, so I don't have this lapse in my continuous glucose monitoring. So like I said, I'm grateful to her. She seems to be right on top of this stuff. And one of the things that is helpful, several of her other patients are vets as well, and they're truck drivers just like me. So she kind of understands the lifestyle and the quirks of it, and instead of just being like, well, like most of the other VA providers think you can just drop everything and show up when they want you to, she understands that, hey, you might be 5 states away and you're just not going to be available, but we can still talk via telephone and get to the bottom of things. For that, I'm extremely grateful. Closer to break anyways, and then I'll make myself some coffee, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to fix one of my own breakfast sandwiches, or I might spring, since yesterday was payday, I might spring and actually buy breakfast this morning. I don't do that a whole lot, so. But I think once it starts to get fully light out, I'm going to end this video. I don't want it to get too long. I'm at like 25 minutes right now. That's probably about as long as I want it to get. I will, wherever I decide to stop up there, there's also a 1-9 coming up, and I don't know if I want to stop there or up here at the Loves. That's just before you get to Springfield. But regardless, it's like it's starting to get to that time of morning. I can see in the mirror that the sun is starting to peek up over the horizon, so it's getting to that time of morning where it's still dark out, but you can see a little better, and the danger level decreases just ever so slightly. But I don't want this video to run too long, so I will probably end it about time that I pull up here and stop wherever I'm going to take my comfort break. We got about 6 miles before I'm going to stop for my comfort break. Stopping at the Loves that's at exit 88 on I-44 West here. And it's gotten to the point, it's not like fully light out yet, but this was the time when I used to deer hunt in Pennsylvania that this was about the time that you could just nicely see the deer moving, and we got a lot of buck first thing in the morning like this, like as soon as light hit, because they were out creeping around thinking that they were all stealthy, and if you had gotten out and gotten into the woods pretty unscathed, kind of quiet, and didn't disturb a lot of the surroundings, and got to your spot where you were going to stand, we were lucky quite a few times that they would walk right by you, and you could get your deer early in the morning on the first day of buck season. After that, it got to be a challenge, because once they got shot at it a couple of times, they were very good at hide and go seek. That they've been the hide and go seek champions for a long time. And then come doe season, you'd see all these buck out running around, almost like fanning their finger at you, saying, you know, "Ah, you didn't get me this year, buddy." So I wanted to tell everybody that I appreciate my subscribers. I know there's not very many of you, but I'm new at making these videos, and so it's going to take me a little bit to get it the way I want it. Just bear with me. I appreciate all of you that take the time to watch my stuff. I know some of it's not very exciting. I'm trying to piecemeal my way through it so that I can make something that you would enjoy watching. I know there's several other guys that I watch that we've been watching for years now, and I'm kind of using a little bit of each of their ideas to try to incorporate into my videos, and maybe I show a different perspective. There's so many guys that are out here that make videos, and no one of us does everything exactly right. That, you know, this is my take on what I do. I'm more of a regional driver. That I do run quite a few states, but we're on dedicated accounts, and so there's just certain areas that we run to, and I seem to be doing a lot of the Michigan, Texas, and Georgia run. We've got other guys that do some dedicated stuff from like Indy to Michigan and Indy to Ohio, and it's just how our company pans out. If I was much younger, if I would have got back into a truck much younger, I would probably have bought a truck and found a company like Spartan to provide power only for. But at my age, all I'm trying to do now is get to the point that say this, that I am doing quite well. That I am very happy with how I'm being treated at Spartan and what we get paid per mile. Pretty good pay. So if you like my videos, don't like my videos, I just ask, would you give me a like? Would you comment, let me know what you like, what you don't like, whatever. I just want to hear from y'all. And with that, I'm going to show pulling into this fuel island. Stop, clean my windshield, go inside and refresh my coffee, and then get on my way home to see how my wife's doing. Once I pull into the fuel island here, I'm going to end this video for today, simply because it's gotten to about the maximum length that I want, and it's also getting where I wanted it to be, mostly about nighttime driving, and now that the sun's coming up, I've kind of exhausted that title for this video. So this is that funky one that you turn in here, and then you gotta do the loopy-loop around here into the parking lot. Each one of them are a little bit different. Some of the new ones, some of the new loves that they've built all have this weird crank around bend like this. I don't know if they've done a study and they feel like it keeps the trucks moving at a slower pace, and that they like that. I don't know, because a lot of these truck stops, these boneheads go flying through here at 30 miles an hour through the dang parking lot. It's just not the best deal. And with that, I am going to bid you all adieu. Have a good morning. Y'all stay safe out there, drivers.
Turn right on North Highway 1.